Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Merman Master coming at you guys again from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel again with my updated NeoSpacian deck profile. Now, for those of you guys who know, I just did a NeoSpacian deck profile on the channel very recently, but literally a couple of days after that profile dropped, the one and only NeoSpace connector is finally here. One of the, I believe, the first revealed of the new Savage Strike support for NeoSpacians, as well as one of the best cards that they've gotten in recent memory. NeoSpace Connector is a card that is awesome in both casual and competitive play. I did a little video on that very recently, so feel free to check that out, and I've now finally added it to the deck. In addition, I've upped the extra deck count to a full 15 cards, so look forward to that. Very good. And without further ado, guys, we're going to get into the deck profile. It's going to be pretty simple since you guys have already seen this stuff before. I'll just go through it. So starting out, guys, is 3 copies of NeoSpace Connector, the brand new card. One of the best new cards that they've gotten. It's basically a special summon of a elemental hero Neos or NeoSpacian when it comes to the field, and a special summon of either an elemental hero or NeoSpacian from grave by tributing it. This card's really good in competitive play, especially in decks like Goki or Heroes, where you can summon it, special an Aqua Dolphin, rip a card out of your opponent's hand, and then link into Isolde, Twin Tails of the Noble Knights. Very good. For the purposes of this build, we can use that play sometimes, but we also really like the play of being able to go into Aqua Dolphin, ditch a Neos to the grave to rip a card out of the opponent's hand, and then activate Connector's second ability to special summon that Neos back and bounce him back to summon the monster. So it really speeds up the play and the pace quite a lot in the deck, and it's something that I was very lucky to get my hands on and very happy to have in the deck. So that's going to do it for Connector, guys. Now we're going to be moving on to the next card. I've upped my Elemental Hero Neos count from 2 to 3. Lately, as I told you guys in the previous deck profile, I'd run into some issues with Neos not being able to be seen as often as I would have wanted him to, and being stuck in the deck for Neos Fusion a lot. So this definitely helps to clear things up a lot and to basically make the deck more consistent. I think 3 is the perfect number for Elemental Hero Neos, and you don't really have too much trouble getting him out of your hand or doing any plays like that thanks to all of the brand new support cards. So he's in here at 3. Next, of course, guys, the ratios for these stayed the same. 2 Elemental Hero Honesty Neos and 2 Elemental Hero Prisma. A lot of people have taken Prisma out. I'm still one of the last holdouts, I think, keeping Prisma in this deck at 2, but I do feel that it is one of the best cards for ditching either Neos or NeoSpacian monsters to the grave, and is easily searchable, unlike some of the other support in the deck. Now, guys, moving on to the NeoSpacians, my count for here has also stayed the same. We've got the 2 Aqua Dolphins, largely one of the best ones that people have found recently, especially for ditching stuff out of your opponent's hand. Then we have 2 Dark Panther for its ability to copy your opponent, and also for being a material for one of the best new Neos triple contact fusion Nebula Neos in there, and also having the ability to be a material for Dark Neos is superbly and supremely helpful for negating things that your opponent controls. Now, rounding out the NeoSpacians, 1 copy of Air Hummingbird for Air Neos, 1 copy of Glow Moss for Glow Neos, 1 copy of Flare Scarab for Flare Neos, and then finally a singular copy of Grand Mole. Might bump this up to 2, haven't decided yet. Now it's being, thanks to the new support, you're better able to run a larger count of NeoSpacians in this deck than you used to be able to. Still in this deck, guys, 1 copy of NeoSpace Pathfinder. Reconsidered my viewpoint in it. He's in here a little bit more. I've noticed that it's sometimes better to have 1 Pathfinder, 1 space, rather than 2 spaces, simply for the deck thinning capacity. I did test this, and still keeping NeoSpace Pathfinder in here until further notice. But it is a very good card, has been very helpful for a while, and definitely think it's something to consider. Next, we're running 1 copy of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, and then to round things out is Thunder King Ryo. And that's going to do it for the monsters. Now, moving on to the spells. We still have those proxies in here, the 3 Neos Fusion. You guys know the ability. Send 1 Neos from your deck, and send Elemental Hero Neos and or any materials for a 2 material Neos Fusion monster that lists Elemental Hero Neos as a fusion material from your hand, deck, or field, hand, deck, and field, or field to the graveyard. Special summon that monster. Then, if that monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, or it would go back to the extra deck for its own effect, you can banish Neos Fusion from the grave to prevent that from happening. Neos Fusion does have that special summon ability. No special summoning after that, after the fact of using Neos Fusion. Otherwise, I think it would be way broken combining Neos Fusion together with Miracle Contact to create a sort of singular kind of loop deck where you just keep looping Neo stuff back and forth in the deck. And I think the fact that they kept Neos Fusion with that very nice restriction prevents those kinds of plays, linear plays, from happening and making the deck a lot less fun. So guys, that's Neos Fusion. Next card is the one that I just mentioned in here, is a triplicate copies, guys, of Miracle Contact. Very, very good card. Shuffle back from your, instead of sending from your hand, field, and deck, this one will shuffle back from your hand, field, and or graveyard back to the deck and special summon. It does not have the 2 Neos restriction or the special summon restriction on this card, and it doesn't even have a restriction where you have to only activate 1 per turn. Still a very, very good card, one that this deck definitely needed for a very, very long time, and thanks to Neos Fusion and other cards that get the stuff to the deck, Miracle Contact is a lot more live than it has been in the past. Now guys, next card is Convert Contact. This card is really good for sending NeoSpacians from your hand to the graveyard, although I will say that its effect to not have any monsters that you control on the field is quite detrimental in numerous occasions where you'll have like a stray Grand Mole or a stray, hero monster like a Prism or something like that laying on the field, and Convert Contact becomes dead in hand. Still, you got to run it at 3 for consistency. E-Call, search out all your main heroes, whether it's a Neos, whether it's a Prisma, or a Honesty Neos, or even Shadow Mist from your hand to ditch with Aqua Dolphin to get another search to continue going off on that. Next, guys, we've got Contact Out. Really like this card in here. I'm not sure still if I'm going to do 1 or 2 when the new stuff comes out, but Contact Out is still a very, very good card for its special ability of being able to defuse Neos Fusions, which Defusion cannot do, and special summon back their associated materials. Really great for OTKs, and then also if you have a Neos Contact Fusion on the field, you can just banish Neos Fusion, and then it remains on the field until next turn, and if your opponent tries to target it, you can just Contact Out that monster into its respective materials, so you're not really losing card advantage from there. Next, guys, 1 copy of a hero lives. Get out your Prismas. Pretty self-explanatory. No Stratos in the deck. It does clog. You're fighting for your normal summon with a lot of stuff, so that's the case. 1 NeoSpace. Looking for an ulti on that, and then finally we have Rhoda. So that closes that out. And then now moving on to the traps. Of course, we're starting off this with the card that counts as Nex. The Royal Decree is actually NEXT. Special summoning the any 1 copy of Elemental Heroes, and then as many NeoSpacians as you want from your hand or graveyard. And if you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. Very, very good card. Now, last card, of course, Hope for Escape. This might move as things start to change even more in the deck, but as I mentioned, I'm still having a good time testing with the card right now, and there's no plans, at least in the current moment, to change that. Now, guys, moving on to the extra deck. You already know it. You already love it. Elemental Hero Air Neos, Aqua Neos, Flare Neos, Grand Neos, Glow Neos, and 2 copies of Elemental Hero Dark Neos. One of the things that I did want to mention is that now, thanks to Neos Fusion and all of the other Neos cards, this is now become a toolbox. So rather than having to spend time special summoning a specific one of these, now it's literally a one card activation for most of them, so you can bring out whichever one you want when you want it. Air Neos to finish games, Aqua Neos for its hand loops with Aqua Dolphin, Flare Neos to beat over big monsters, Grand Neos to send stuff you don't want to deal with back to the hand. Glow Neos has actually become very, very useful as a way to pop monsters your opponent controls that you don't want returning to their hand or deck, as well as being able to pop back row like traps or something like that to clear the way for other monsters, and popping spells, which I find is very, very useful as it gives Glow Neos a direct attacking path, whether it's through monsters that you cannot beat, and then you combine that together with an Honesty Neos, and that's usually enough to finish a game. And finally, Dark Neos, which I've got in here at 2, is really, really good for beating down on your opponent and just being a one-card negation of something that they control. Very, very good card. Can even negate itself to prevent itself from returning back to the extra deck during the end phase. So that's going to round out these guys. Then for the other ones that we're running, Neos Knight. Very good card. Attacking twice. Can also be summoned off of Neos Fusion. So very good. It doesn't inflict damage, but it can get big thanks to the warrior monsters you use to summon it. And now, moving on to these guys over here, we have the triple contact fusions. Elemental Hero Chaos Neos, Nebula Neos, Magma Neos, and Storm Neos. Storm Neos is the best one. It's a heavy storm. And then when it goes back to the extra deck, shuffle everything you control, everything on the field into the deck. Magma Neos gains 400 attack for everything on the field. Very, very good card, including himself. Can get very big, great for ending games. And when he goes back, everything goes back to the hand. Nebula Neos, probably combined together with Storm Neos, is probably the ones that you might see or summon the most often, whose effect is to, when it comes to the field, draw cards equal to the number of cards face up or face down that your opponent controls. And then you can negate a card on the field, including himself, of course, which is an effect he shares with Dark Neos. When he shuffles away, he shuffles everything, or he banishes everything face down, kind of like evenly matched. And then finally, Elemental Hero Chaos Neos kind of has a glow moss effect. You flip a coin 3 times, and if it's 3 heads, and you activate effects based on the number of heads. 3 heads, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls. 2 heads, you negate all their effects, and then 1 heads, you bounce everything you control monster-wise back to the hand. And then when this guy goes back, set everything on the field. So very, very good. Next, of course, guys, even though we don't have it in the deck quite yet, I'd love to wait for a Ghost Rare copy, but we've got Rainbow Neos. Maybe need a Ghost Rare copy of Rainbow Dragon. We'll definitely see about that, but very, very good card here, guys, and something that is definitely worth it to run in here at 1. Some people say it overshadows the other guys. It might be true, but who knows. And now, finally, to finish it out, guys, the 2 Link monsters. I sold Twin Tails of the Noble Knights. Got the reprint and 1 original here, but still very, very good cards to summon off of a NeoSpace connector. Gets your NeoSpacians and stuff to the grave and searches you another connector for next turn. As I mentioned, guys, with character decks and things like that, I do run I sold in my other character deck. This is only for situations that might arise where we're running in Master Rule 4. The same can be said here. You can even run this in Master Rule 3 if you wanted. But I sold is really good for just cycling through your deck, for getting things to the grave, and for facilitating the plays that you have with your NeoSpacian, your Elemental Hero Neos and NeoSpacian fusion monsters. And it's just sort of that. It's not going to be the be-all, end-all. It's not going to, win the game by itself, but it's still a very, very good card that you have to have in here. I personally decided to put it in here at 2. Might bump the number either up or down, depending on the ban list and depending on new support that we get for the deck. Don't use its second effect for the equips, as I don't run any in the deck at this current moment. So guys, that's going to about wrap the deck profile up. Thank you very much for watching once again. We really appreciate all of the support that you guys have given us over this time, and we look forward to providing more awesome content just like this to you in the very near future. With that being said, guys, this is the Mermail Master with the Team Time Riders YouTube channel, and I'm signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.